Hard in the land of Lincoln. Just minutes ago, Bush finished a speech in Skokie, and that's where Phil Ponce is live right now. Phil?
Bill, it's still raining now, but an hour ago it was absolutely torrential. In fact, George Bush was almost rained out here in Skokie. But in spite of the rain and the thunder, George Bush came to the Holocaust Memorial to reach out to Jewish voters. The vice president talked about the memorial and his sensitivity to Jewish concerns. He combined his visit to the memorial with a brief meeting with local leaders of the Jewish community and also Holocaust survivors. He emphasized his respect for the Jewish community and how he considers himself a longtime friend of Jews in this country and also abroad. Bush aides say they consider Illinois to be too close to call, and as a result, Bush will continue to reach out to all racial, religious, and ethnic groups. Bush's next destination is in DuPage County. In fact, our Mike Flannery is standing by live at the College of DuPage. Bush's destination, Mike, I hope it's drier there than it was here.
Well, Phil, it has been just as wet outside, but it's very much dry inside. And the Republicans here are trying to create a groundswell, a bandwagon mentality for what they believe now is a ticket that has real red-hot momentum. This, of course, is the DuPage County suburbs, as you said. It's a lot different than Cook County. This is the Republican heartland. Some of the biggest regions of all. Just as Illinois Democrats count on lopsided pluralities from Chicago, the GOP relies on the rock-ribbed Republicans of DuPage. In 1980, they gave Reagan 65% to Jimmy Carter's 23.8%. In 1984, Reagan was even stronger, getting more than 74% to Walter Mondale's 23%.
This is where the margin is, and if we're going to put Illinois in the Republican column, we have to win it right here. We have to win it in DuPage County and King County and really the Collier County. So that's what's very, very important to do the work here.
I really have the sensation of an enthusiasm for George Bush in Naperville and in the surrounding areas that has built in particular since the debate.
Bush looks good. He looks real good. He's a different man since the convention. Super at the last debate, and he's really on a roll.
Well, this is the crowd waiting for George Bush. He's running a little late, but as you can see, they are prepared to perform for the cameras right on cue. George Bush is expected to arrive here this evening, and he is going to give a speech. I'll tell you, after the way this crowd is revved up, no matter what George Bush says, they're going to be cheering. They're going to leave here enthusiastic, ready to hit the precincts, as a number of those Republican leaders said. These are the Republican shock troops. They've got to get out and get out that vote on November 8th. Mike Flannery reporting live from Glen Ellen. Back now to you in the newsroom.
Mike, in world news tonight, a fiery jet crash just outside Rome is being blamed on a pilot's error. A Uganda Airlines Boeing 707 jet crashed and tore into pieces as the pilot attempted to land at Leonardo da Vinci Airport. 30 people are dead. Remarkably, 22 have survived. Officials report that the pilot, trying to land in a heavy fog, mistook the lights of a highway for the runway. In Washington today, a mock cemetery was the symbol of protest as hundreds of people gathered to demonstrate against American policies in El Salvador. The crosses represented those killed in El Salvador's civil war. The demonstrators blocked entrances to the Pentagon. Nearly 200 of them were arrested. The protesters want all American military advisors removed from El Salvador, and they want to call Reagan's Central American policy morally dangerous. Let's check in now.
Excuse me. No,
Both of us.
I was going to
Lester
jump over
Hall.
to Cup, but we want to see Lester first.
Yeah, Lester's standing by to tell us what's coming up at 10.
One of those newscasts. Thank you, Walter. We'll have a late report on the stormy weather moving through the Chicago area right now, including some reports of flooding that we're just getting here in the newsroom and trying to put together for you. Also tonight, a Chicago businessman is attacked by vandals for the second year in a row. Vandals reviving the dark memories of Nazi Germany. And a nightmare on the highway as a truck filled with bees flips over, creating one of the strangest traffic jams you've ever seen. All that and much more tonight on the 10 o'clock news.
And we got pictures of it. Let's go to Cup, who has more on one of the top stories of the day. Is it true that Nancy Reagan is going to have to give back some clothes?
Yes, it is, Bill. She announced, or is going to announce, I'm not sure the exact context of the time, but she is going to announce that she will return all those beautiful gowns and jewelry that she borrowed since 1982. And she added, that's what I intended to do all the time as soon as our administration leaves office. The whistleblower, of course, was that famous fashion designer who remains anonymous, who reported that Nancy had borrowed millions of dollars worth of gowns and jewelry and has not returned them, nor has she reported them as required by law. But now Nancy's going to make amends, he says.
Yeah, he's still got all the publicity. Is that the Gallonus line?
I'll have to take a pass on that, Bill, because this hearing aid is not working again.
Well, then we'll move you on to something else, okay?
All right.
I mean, read my lips. Richard Burton is in your news tonight.
Yes, Richard Burton, the late Richard Burton, according to a new book titled Richard Burton, A Life Story, had some words of everlasting love for Elizabeth Taylor, but harsh comments for both Frank Sinatra and Marlon Brando. About Elizabeth, he says, she is my ever-loving life, and I shall love her until I die. We are bound together, end of quote. But about Frank, he says he's less sanguine. He says Frank must be a bore to live with. And about Marlon Brando, he says Marlon has yet to learn how to speak. He has ruined many of his performances with under-articulation. He should have been making movies in the silent days, end of quote.
Cup, is Frank a bore or a boor?
A bore, he said.
Bore.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
And Kitty Kelly should have liked those comments about Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, Kitty Kelly, of course, who has always been claiming that people who won't be interviewed by her for her books says they are terrible people, and she will have lambasted them with harsh words. But now, what goes around comes around. The Washington Post is doing a story on Kitty Kelly, and guess what? She refuses to be interviewed by the Washington Post.
E.T., Cup, don't say it. There is somebody who actually believes that E.T. is bad for kids.
Would you repeat that, please?
E.T., the movie E.T., you know somebody who thinks it's bad for children? Oh, no, I'm dying to know what he's
This
going
thing
to
is
say.
not working. Are you talking about the evangelicals?
Yes.
Oh. The National Association of Evangelicals has chosen a very odd product to put a ban on in order for retribution. The product they're trying to ban is a very, very popular home video of E.T., the extraterrestrial. And they're doing it in retribution because Universal is distributing the home video, and Universal also distributed, as you remember, The Last Temptations of Christ. So to get even, the evangelicals are asking their members to boycott E.T. Now, that's a poor choice to boycott because E.T. is so popular, it'll never sell.
I'm surprised to hear that.
Thank you, Cup.
We had trouble with the connection out there because of the weather, no doubt.
Yeah, we'll get him the new one tomorrow.
Still ahead on our news, a new way to plan for your retirement, courtesy of the state of Illinois. Then, 1 year after the big stock market crash, Terry Savage looks at what has changed and what has not as a result of Black Monday.
Years ago, the Constitution of the United States suggested a very simple way to keep idiots like these out of our government. A reminder from members only.
I'm Al Pamani, and I've been a Ford dealer for 23 years, and it's been deals like $100 down and as low as $129 a month for a brand new Escort or a brand new Ranger that guaranteed my customers the best price. At Al Pamani Ford and Arlington Heights Ford, we have over 2,000 cars and trucks, new and used, for you to choose from. And to give you confidence and trust in a used car, I'll back it 100% for 6 months. If a little taillight goes out, I'll fix it, no charge. At Al Pamani Ford and Al Pamani's Arlington Heights Ford.
The problem with supermarket donuts is there's no telling how long they've been lying there. So come to Dunkin' Donuts. We make them fresh, day and night.
Now you can actually look forward to Mondays. At Dunkin' Donuts, buy a dozen donuts at regular price and get 6 free. And with our other specials, you can look forward to Tuesdays and Wednesdays as well.
Ex-Lax presents some gentle guarantees. A feeling of freshness, of confidence, and the peace of mind that comes from the Ex-Lax guarantee. Taken at bedtime, Ex-Lax is guaranteed to work gently, effectively, by 8 a.m. or your money back. So you can start the day feeling like yourself again. And that's a promise you can count on. Ex-Lax, guaranteed complete relief by 8 a.m.
Before your tires show uneven wear, Let Midas check your alignment. You see, we're serious about safety. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
There's some good news for investors tonight. Starting next week, the state will begin selling over $10 million in low-cost bonds for retirement. The savings program is similar to the college bonds the state offered earlier this year. Thousands of people took the opportunity to start saving for their children's education. With the new program, you will be able to set up your own type of individual retirement account. The bonds start at $1,200, and they will be worth $5,000 at maturity.
Just in case you do not remember, or would rather not remember, this is the anniversary of Black Monday, that Monday 1 year ago when the stock market fell 500 points. Tonight, our financial analyst, Terry Savage, looks at the changes that have been made to prevent it from happening again.
1 year later, and the options exchange looks just about as busy as ever. The S&P 100 index pit seems jammed, and nearby, the new pit for the CBOE 250 index will be ready to open in a few weeks. Only a closer look shows that now there are spaces open to stand within the index pit. Volume is still down 50%, and the price of a seat down from its high of $465,000 before the crash, up from the post-crash low of $265,000. It's now trading around $350,000. The exchange has laid off clerks and raised margins and joined with other exchanges in a new circuit breaker mechanism. If prices drop 250 points, trading halts on all exchanges for 1 hour. If prices then fall another 150 points, trading halts for 2 hours. CBOE Chairman Duke Chapman says that will make a difference.
No one can ever promise it won't happen again. But stocks are selling at 13 times earnings, and dividends have come up while prices have come down. And you know, how far do you fall from here? If you fall, it seems to me it's unlikely we'll have the kind of cataclysm we had a year ago.
Over at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, where S&P 500 stock index futures are traded, the situation is similar. After the crash, the exchange put in price limits, raised margins, and has instituted a collect and pay system during the day. They, too, are part of the circuit breaker system.
Hopefully, the slowing down of the process will bring buyers, for example, if it were a down market, to the marketplace where otherwise they would have stayed away because they would have analyzed it as a panic situation and they wouldn't have gotten involved.
Meanwhile, small investors have stopped calling their brokers, deserting the markets in droves. New York Stock Exchange volume averages only 150 million shares a day, and one estimate has brokers' incomes down 30% in the last year, and many brokers have left the business. But at this firm, Rodman & Renshaw, they've been expanding, taking on new brokers and opening new offices.
The money is still there. It's just basically sitting on the sidelines. We think that the stock market will do better, and we think the small investor will be back.
And the small investor will be back if that individual investor can be assured that the market is fair and will be orderly and, in fact, will be there. Probably the most optimistic thing you can say about the market is that people are scared, and they are sitting on the sidelines, and there is cash around, and people just don't believe the market's going straight up. In fact, they're so scared that maybe now there's a chance the market can go up. And it did go up a little bit today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up 7.25 points at 2140.47. 119 million shares traded, though. That is very light volume. Once again, far below the averages we saw a year ago, and even below its average this year. It'll be interesting to see now on Wednesday, which is the actual 19th, the anniversary of the crash, if there's any reaction at all, or if the markets just chug merrily on, waiting for some news to send it out of this trading level it's been at for so long. That's the Money Report. I'm Terry Savage, live at the Options Exchange.
Thank you, Terry. Were you ever so close to something you failed to see the big picture? Well, consider the case of Stan Hurd and his wife, Janice, artists who never lose sight of the big picture. They can't afford to because their art is embedded in the rich farmland just outside Lincoln, Nebraska. With the help of a $15,000 grant from the town fathers, Stan and Janice leased a 30-acre plot, which they cultivated into a living canvas called The Harvest.
My inspiration was to do something grand and do something innovative and do something that stretched the boundaries that I had seen.
Using a tractor instead of a brush, they etched a design from a sketch into the earth, planting patterns of oats, soy, alfalfa, and sorghum to create a tableau of an extra-large egg, bread, milk, apples, 200 feet in diameter.
Fairly satisfied. I wanted a lot more color, and it just reflects agriculture, you know, everybody wants a bumper crop, and I didn't get the bumper crop here. But it was, I think the image is really pretty nice this year.
In about a month from now, the artistic landscape will fade back into the earth, offering another dimension to this rather unusual still life.
And they say that it didn't cost them any more. They didn't lose any more money by planting it.
I wonder how many bushels they got for the acre.
We'll take a break here. Then Johnny comes in to join us with a look at the Demons opening at the fall and the Oakland A's trying to get their act together after failing to dodge the bullets of L.A.
Dave Lennox. Since 1895, new ideas in heating and cooling. And now get 0% financing or $200 cash rebate on the Lennox Pulse Gas Furnace. Call your independent Lennox dealer.
I'm Bill Walter, Walters Heating and Sheet Metal, serving the south suburbs for 55 years.
Walters and Lennox.
Let our family serve yours. Hi, I'm Pat Hudgens of Elgin Sheet Metal. We've been serving the Fox Valley since 1936. Call us today.
Attaboy, Dave. From Neutrogena comes the hand care specialist Norwegian Formula Hand Cream. So glycerin-rich, so concentrated, the drier your hands, the better it works. Norwegian Formula Hand Cream. Soothing relief for very dry, chapped hands. Dermatologists recommend it. Neutrogena guarantees it.
Neutrogena, now available at Farmore. Shop Farmore's 7 Chicago area locations.
I can shoot it. I think I'm Clint Eastwood, John Wayne, each night out. It is like a gunfighter mentality. And I think it makes me a better gunfighter by fighting off whoever thinks they're better than I am. You know, I go out to play basketball every day, and I try to win every night. When I'm on the basketball court, I like to have fun. I smile, I joke, I pat the referees on the tail. I can accept losing, but I'm not a good loser. I'm a good winner.
Great, Ray. That's a wrap.
Huh?
That's sweet.
Meet Roseanne Barr, who's about to be the biggest hit on TV this fall, plus a rare interview with Meryl Streep on Entertainment Tonight.
Tonight at 6:30 on Channel 2.
Narcotics Anonymous can help drug users get free of their habit. Call the helpline at 848-4884. There is hope.
One of the most dramatic and exciting weekends of sport I can remember. Notre Dame, we have World Series, and we start up again tomorrow.
That's right. We had the Bears yesterday, too.
Yeah.
We had a lot of excitement over the weekend. I'll never forget the one with Kirk Gibson. That was something. I'd say the Oakland A's are in trouble. The Dodgers won again last night, 6-0, as Oral Hershiser did it again. The Dodgers got all they needed very early. Here's a two-run homer by Mike Marshall, a boomer that made sure Storm Davis was to be the losing pitcher. 55,000 fans at Dodger Stadium. The story had to be Hershiser. He fired a nice three-hitter. Dave Parker goes down for the last out, and that was it. The Dodgers with the shutout as Tom Lasorda and crew feel mighty good now. The Dodgers are up 2-0 with the next 3 games at Oakland. That will start tomorrow night, but the Dodgers certainly have first jump. And yes, Lasorda, he knows what he likes.
I love this guy very, very much. I love the Bulldog very much.
I don't like destiny because it has to do with luck, and it doesn't matter what we do that we're going to win. I like character. I like heart. And I think what it is just a whole bunch of guys trying very, very hard, and one of them ends up coming through on any given night.
Well, no one expected us to win our division. No one expected us to beat the mighty Mets, who have, I think, the best ball club in the National League. And certainly no one expected us to be 2-0 against the best team in the American League.
Okay, nobody expected it. We'll see what happens. In college football, the Fighting Irish are close now. Notre Dame, after upsetting Miami on Saturday, is now second in the nation, according to both the United Press, which is this poll here, and the Associated Press. The Bruins are first, then Notre Dame, USC, Miami, and West Virginia. We checked out the offense earlier. Now for defense on the Bears. Brilliant as usual. Yesterday in beating Dallas 17-7, the defense sealed the fate of this game when Mike Singletary and Maurice Douglas made a wish with Steve Pellure's body. He was out for the game. Dan Hampton, he put it best.
When a quarterback
decides to venture out of the pocket, you're supposed to let him know that he's not supposed to. And certainly Mo Douglas made sure that he's going to have a real nice vacation here going back to Dallas.
The Bears came up with 5 sacks against backup Danny White. Steve McMichael had 2.5, and as McMichael told me after the game, they had no chance.
You know, I think our defensive line is the best defensive line in pro football, no doubt about it. And if you don't block us, you're not going nowhere.
The highlight, perhaps, was a young, excitable newcomer, David Tate. The 8th-round draft choice nailed 2 interceptions to gain the game ball, and, of course, a lot of publicity and notice afterwards.
It doesn't get any better than this. If I was writing the story, I don't think I could write it better. It was great. I think I was in the right position to make some plays today, and I made the plays. You know, I'll see the film tomorrow and know exactly how good I did, but right now I feel great.
He feels great. Meanwhile, DePaul began practice this week for the 88-89 season. It's the Blue Demons' toughest schedule ever. 31 games, and 18 of those with teams that were in postseason play last year. Joey Meyer, hard to believe, now in his 5th season, takes a look at his team, which is certainly in transition.
Well, I think there's 2 things we got to overcome. One is not having a returning point guard that's played 1 minute of college basketball, and 2, the toughest schedule we've ever played. So I think our attitude now and kind of our rallying cry is we're going to work really hard. And after 2 days of practice, they really do from top to bottom. I'm going to have a difficult time determining who's going to play. I got a lot of young guys. I got veterans. I just got a lot of people that don't have much major college experience, but got some talent and got a lot of heart. Hell, I hope I have the success Dick has had with all the young guys he's put in there. If I can have that kind of success, we're going to have a great year.
Okay, you're going to get him joy. And, hey, what about Frank Bruno, the #1 contender for Mike Tyson's heavyweight crown? The man from England is trying to get dates set for their upcoming bout. He talks a good game. Today at a press conference in New York, Bruno said he can beat Tyson if we've got that videotape. Do we have that videotape? Oh, he is funny. Now, that really ticks me off. We don't have that videotape. I promise that I'll have it for you at 10 o'clock tonight, but he had some real funny lines, and he says that he can beat Mike Tyson, and that Tyson is using Robin Givens as an excuse and his marital problems to get out of fighting him. So that's it.
We're still waiting. A, to get the tape up here, and 2, not to tick Johnny off. No?
I don't think we're going to get it.
Watch it for Ken. Mark Draper's getting ready to come up here with a story about a product with a very unusual pitch, the high-tech baseball.
Maybe Alaska isn't all igloos and ice. Maybe the governor likes it up there.
Oh, Drexel, that's ridiculous.
I know one thing. He went up there to find out why tourists that should be coming here are going there, and he hadn't come back.
You know, I should be getting back for that range meeting.
Governor, I just canceled it.
Well, good.
Just join the jumping. It's really jumping.
Jump into Burger King and say, and play triple jump checkers. It's easy to play, just like checkers, and easier to win, because every card can win if you make the right moves. Win up to $1 million instantly, or tasty food prizes, or collect to win a Carnival cruise, a dream house, or a Pontiac Grand Prix. Triple jump checkers. Every card has a prize on it, so every card can win. King me.
I don't have to worry about Track Auto's quality. It's there. I can concentrate on what I do best.
Bowling lessons?
Oh, Fred, you're up.
This week at Track, Haviland 10W30 or 10W40 motor oil is just 54 cents a quart. GE Power Plus halogen headlamps are as low as $5.99 each. Plastic Color custom fit car mats are just $18.99 a cent.
If you need it, Track's got it. I bring your arm back like this for the release.
Like this?
Track Auto.
When I found out Ford Ranger was the best-selling truck in its class, I said, that's the truck for me. Now, yeah, I looked at the imports, but they didn't have a 6-year, 60,000-mile warranty. My Ranger's got it all, a fuel-injected engine, electronic stereo, an option package that saved me over $1,200. It's a value you just can't beat.
Now, for a limited time, get $500 cash back on Ranger, $500 cash back on a wide selection of 88s.
Ford Ranger, a quality product, all right, from the quality people, my local Ford dealer.
These days, it seems like every sport is going high-tech. Court games are being fine-tuned with composite rackets, skis are computer-designed, bikes are made out of space-age materials, but baseball, well, baseball is still the domain of traditionalists. Or is it? Tonight in Schaefer's place, Mark throws us a curve of sorts with the new gadgets that could turn out to be a big hit.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Got it.
With L.A. and Oakland in the World Series, the underdogs have a 2-game lead. And like any series, it gets some sports thinking they could do a better job.
You're sitting in the bar watching the game, and the guy next to you says, "Would you look at that pitch? What's he doing? Bowling?" And you say, "Could you do any better?" And he says, "Yeah, I could." And you say, "Okay, prove it." And he says, "Okay, get me the radar gun." Well, now you can.
You could put money on it. It's gonna read out an accurate readout for how fast you can actually throw the ball. A lot of people believe they can throw it 90, 100 miles an hour. This will show them.
Talking about the newest put your money where your mouth is, pal, gadget for baseball fans. It's called the Radar Ball, available at sporting goods outlets like Sport Mart. It measures how fast your fastball is.
30.
So naturally, I took the battery-powered ball to Sluggers batting cages near Cubs Park.
31 up there. It's close.
The ball is a regular-shaped hardball that has a computer chip inside of it. You can't hit it, only throw it. But after you do, you know whether to brag or not to brag.
Are you a betting man? I wouldn't bet on that ball.
There's just one thing. The $12 Radar Ball does not come with any bandages for any bruised egos. Mark Schaefer, Channel 2 News.
That's our news early. We'll be back again at 10 o'clock.
See you then. Good night.
The 5 o'clock news is a presentation of Channel 2, Chicago's station for news.
Burger medium.
Burger with the works.
There are lots of burgers America goes out for, but there's only one burger with the taste America comes home for. Manwich, the burger with the works inside. Your fresh ground beef and Manwich sauce, brimming with tomatoes, onions, peppers, the works, all simmered together for a taste you can only get at home. Manwich, the burger with the works inside.
On an August day in 1988, an historic event took place. It didn't happen on Main Street or in any American town, but in Russia, where soldiers began destroying hundreds of nuclear missiles with the understanding that we'd destroy some of our own. The first disarmament treaty of its kind. And though most Americans were unaware of the significance of the moment or realized it was George Bush who led the way, someday their grandchildren will.
We're all about Chicago.
This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. Good evening. 3 weeks to Election Day. George Bush is now generally following a strategy of trying not to mess up and not blow the win he and others believe he has sewed up. Bush today stuck to the familiar and tried nothing new, again attacking Dukakis as unworthy on defense and foreign policy. For his part, Mike Dukakis campaigned long and hard and aggressively in Ohio today, one of the big need-to-win states for him. He attacked Bush's record on helping American workers and for savoring victory before the race is over. Popping champagne in their penthouses is the way he put it. Bruce Morton, traveling with the Dukakis campaign, begins our coverage.
We love this man. We love him.
Sometimes when you're losing, it doesn't feel like you're losing. Today, Dukakis played to a big, enthusiastic crowd in Cleveland, but he is losing here. Both sides agree.
Well, right now, we're comfortably ahead.
It's an uphill battle, and my only hope, if I hold out any hope at all, is just this undecided vote.
Polls in Ohio show Dukakis more than 10 points.